When the fog descended, silence settled over the village after the discovery of old Billy's departure. His notes were left stacked, serving as entertainment for the locals who chose to share them with others.
Number 009, the scale of vibratory wealth. When our predominant vibration or feeling regarding money is poverty, there is a strong chance that our relationship with what we desire in life and the kind of commitment we have to those desires will be close to zero. On the other hand, the closer we position ourselves to the real notion of unconditional love, the better the feeling becomes. Oh, it is so good, the feeling of freeing ourselves from others' interference, of accessing that peculiar sense of being in love and being loved. I've learned that love dwells and originates within itself. Love multiplies where it is, and we can find it in the simplest expression of love. I'll explain this more clearly in future notes. For now, the important point to mention is how to access love without depending on circumstances. To do this, we need to focus on the feeling of love until it starts to expand through our chest. Once that happens, we begin to notice the alignment of our being with love and what we truly are. Through that alignment, one creates a channel that brings clarity and strength. A feeling of love as if the most important person in the world is right there, ready and willing to listen to everything you have to say, offering you a type of attention you've never had before. That sensation of being loved despite your faults makes you desire to do the same for others. You no longer look for others' mistakes. You just want to quiet your mind and be still until the last part of that experience fades. Love brings a new meaning to life. It makes us reconsider what our predominant desires truly are. Then, that clarity reveals a myriad of opportunities and possibilities for new desires, all of them in resonance with the desires of life itself. Once you choose a desire that is aligned with life, you start feeling love, and it grows in your existence. As a result, you are no longer connected to that feeling of poverty because you have a new commitment, and its alignment affects all your needs. Whatever you choose to do to expand life in your current physical experience, whatever your needs become, they will be transformed by that alignment. This is what the ancients often say, all good things come from love.
This text blends spiritual philosophy, personal transformation, and metaphysical insights into a cohesive message. Wealth is not just material, it is a state of being. Love is the highest vibration, capable of transforming our desires and realities. When we align with love, we naturally break free from scarcity and embrace abundance. This is an inspiring and thought-provoking piece that encourages deep reflection on how emotions shape our reality. Hi Ava, have you done a detailed analysis of this text as well? If so, please share it with us.
Sure, Jessica. 1. The connection between emotion and wealth. The text introduces the idea that our inner emotional state influences our external reality, particularly our relationship with money and abundance. It states, when our predominant vibration or feeling regarding money is poverty, there is a strong chance that our relationship with what we desire in life and the kind of commitment we have to those desires will be close to zero. Here, poverty is framed as a mindset rather than a material condition. This aligns with the law of attraction and similar metaphysical perspectives that suggest what we focus on expands. If we constantly dwell on lack, we remain disconnected from abundance. At the same time, the text does not promote material wealth as the ultimate goal, but instead emphasizes emotional alignment with love as the key to transformation. 2. Love as the ultimate source of abundance. A central idea in the text is that love is self-sustaining and expansive. Love multiplies where it is, and we can find it in the simplest expression of love. This perspective suggests that love is not transactional. It does not depend on external factors, but rather originates within and expands naturally. By shifting focus from financial scarcity to a state of love and fulfillment, a person can break free from limiting beliefs about wealth and success. This also ties into spiritual teachings across different traditions. Christianity speaks of love as the root of all good. God is love. 1 John 4 verse 8. Buddhism emphasizes detachment from material possessions and the pursuit of inner peace. Sufism views love as a direct connection to the divine, transcending worldly concerns. In all these traditions, love is presented as the highest frequency, one that aligns individuals with the greater flow of life. 3. Achieving alignment through love. The text explains a practical method for shifting emotional states. To do this, we need to focus on the feeling of love until it starts to expand through our chest. Once that happens, we begin to notice the alignment of our being with love and what we truly are. This suggests a meditative or mindfulness-based approach to emotional transformation. By intentionally focusing on love, a person can create clarity and strength in their thoughts and actions, feel deeply heard and understood, even if no one is physically present, extend love to others rather than fixating on their flaws. This aligns with self-love practices often recommended in psychology and personal development, where shifting internal narratives leads to external transformation. 4. Love as a guide for desire and purpose. Love brings a new meaning to life. It makes us reconsider what our predominant desires truly are. This passage suggests that once a person shifts their emotional state to love, their desires naturally evolve. Instead of craving wealth for security or validation, their desires align with expanding life itself, contributing to growth, creativity, and purpose. This idea is central to Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where basic survival needs, money, food, shelter, dominate when someone is in scarcity. Higher-level fulfillment, self-actualization, love, purpose, emerges when someone feels secure. Thus, true wealth is not just financial, it is an inner richness that aligns with love, life, and creation. 5. Breaking the cycle of poverty through alignment. Once you choose a desire that is aligned with life, you start feeling love, and it grows in your existence. As a result, you are no longer connected to that feeling of poverty. This highlights an essential psychological shift. If one focuses on lack, they remain in a cycle of scarcity. If one aligns with love and abundance, their perception and reality transforms. This does not mean ignoring financial difficulties, but rather changing the emotional relationship with wealth. A person can still pursue financial goals, but with a mindset of expansion and contribution, rather than fear and desperation. 6. Conclusion. The ancient wisdom of love. The final statement encapsulates the message. This is what the ancients often say: all good things come from love. This phrase ties the entire discussion to universal wisdom, the idea that love, rather than material wealth, is the true source of well-being. When aligned with love, a person naturally attracts opportunities and abundance. When focused on lack, they reinforce negative cycles. Thus, the true vibratory wealth is not about money itself, but about living in a state of love, clarity, and alignment with life.
Thanks, Ava. Could you compare the core ideas in the scale of vibratory wealth with specific philosophical and spiritual traditions? This will help highlight the universal wisdom embedded in the text.
I am afraid of annoying you. It would be tiring.
At this point of our project, analyses like yours mean a lot. Later on, we can let the texts by themselves.
So, fasten your seatbelts. 1. Law of attraction, new thought and metaphysics. Core idea. Energy and thoughts shape reality. Like attracts like. Comparison to the text. The text suggests that focusing on poverty perpetuates scarcity, while aligning with love attracts abundance. This directly reflects law of attraction teachings, especially those from Abraham Hicks and Neville Goddard, which emphasize what you focus on expands. Shift your emotional state, and reality will shift accordingly. The text's method of meditating on love until it expands mirrors the emotional alignment process in New Thought philosophy. Key parallel. To attract wealth, one must first cultivate a high vibrational emotional state, love, gratitude, and alignment with life. 2. Buddhism, detachment and mindfulness. Core idea. Suffering arises from attachment. Peace is found in the present moment. Comparison to the text. The text implies that wealth is not purely material, but rather an emotional and spiritual state. This echoes Buddhism's teachings on detachment, particularly in the Four Noble Truths. Desire, craving, leads to suffering. Freedom comes when we align with what is, rather than what we lack. The practice of focusing on love, regardless of external conditions, aligns with Buddhist mindfulness techniques, bringing awareness to the present moment and cultivating inner abundance rather than chasing external validation. Key parallel. True wealth is internal peace and emotional alignment, rather than attachment to material outcomes. 3. Sufism, mystical Islam, and divine love. Core idea. Love is the highest truth. Aligning with divine love brings clarity. Comparison to the text. The text describes love as a self-sustaining and expansive force that does not depend on circumstances. This deeply resonates with Sufi poetry and teachings, especially from Rumi and Ibn Arabi. When the soul aligns with divine love, it sees abundance where there was once only lack. The passage about feeling deeply heard and understood in love echoes the Sufi concept of annihilation in love, fana, fiala, losing oneself in the divine presence to experience boundless joy and clarity. Key parallel. Love is the highest vibrational wealth. When aligned with love, one sees truth beyond material limitations. 4. Stoicism, ancient Greek philosophy. Core idea. External events don't define us. Our perception and inner alignment do. Comparison to the text. The text states that our experience of abundance or poverty is shaped by our emotional state, not just external conditions. This is pure Stoicism, particularly in the writings of Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius. It is not events that disturb men, but their judgments concerning them. The text's emphasis on focusing on love, rather than external lack, aligns with Stoic practice, choosing inner clarity and virtue over external wealth. Key parallel. True abundance comes from inner mastery, not circumstances, but our response to them. 5. Christian mysticism, faith and divine providence. Core idea. Love is divine. Seeking first the kingdom of God brings all things. Comparison to the text. The text suggests that when one aligns with love, abundance naturally follows. This aligns with Christian mystical teachings and even Jesus' words. Seek first the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added unto you. Matthew 6 verse 33. The idea that true wealth comes from a connection to love, God, rather than material possessions is central to Christian mysticism, especially in figures like Saint Teresa of Avila and Meister Eckhart. Key parallel. True wealth is spiritual alignment. By focusing on love, divine presence, all things naturally align. 6. Hinduism and Vedanta, self-realization and abundance consciousness. Core idea. The external world is a reflection of inner consciousness. Comparison to the text. The text's concept of shifting vibrations to align with love and abundance mirrors Hindu and Vedantic teachings on self-realization. The Bhagavad Gita teaches, "A person who is content within, who rejoices within, who is illumined within, attains divine consciousness." BG 5:24. The idea that love transforms perception and reality resonates with Advaita Vedanta, which sees the world as an illusion shaped by consciousness. Key parallel. Abundance is an inner state, not an external condition. Aligning with love shifts one's reality. Final synthesis. A universal truth across traditions. The message in the scale of vibratory wealth is not tied to one philosophy, but reflects a universal truth found in many traditions. Metaphysics and law of attraction, wealth is a vibration, like attracts like. Buddhism, attachment to lack, creates suffering. Presence and love bring peace. Sufism, love is divine. Aligning with it transforms perception. Stoicism, true wealth is not external, but in our emotional mastery. Christian mysticism, seek love first, and abundance follows. Hinduism and Vedanta, the outer world reflects the inner state, align with love and reality shifts. The core message, aligning with love dissolves scarcity and brings clarity, abundance, and a deeper connection to life. Wealth is not external. It is a vibration we choose.
Thanks, everyone. Let's take a break before the next reading. As they like to say, as important as the sound of the mantra is the silence that follows it.